Happy Monday, everybody. I hope your weekend was wonderful, and if it wasn't wonderful, then I hope the next one is better. I want to quickly touch base on something I noticed already on the 2 euro bin experiments I have going on, with this one on the left of the two having aged horse manure added to the bottom, and this one on the right not having it, just the traditional bedding. 6 days ago, I uploaded the first video in this series, and what I showed was that I took my two of my Euro bins and dumped them upside down, all their contents, all their existing bedding and castings, into two matching bus bins. The bin on the right had nothing but its original bedding, castings, worms, whatever was in there got carried forward into this with no addition. The bin on the left of the two was also dumped upside down, just flipped over its original bedding, castings, worms, whatever. But on this side, I put some clumps of aged horse manure in the bottom of the bed. So it is horse manure I got that was the gentleman told me it was aged 7 years, and now he's told me that some of it may only be 6 years old, but either 6 or 7 years. It doesn't look, smell, feel, resemble manure in any way. It's perfectly fine to be in the house. There's no odor, just like worm castings are poop, but they don't have any odor either. If you're noticing already what I noticed, the manure bin, pretty much the bedding is gone. The bedding bin, well, not much has happened. Now this has been 6 days. And these guys, they're still doing their thing. But they haven't eaten a whole lot. Now, I had cabbage in there when I dumped them over. That was in their old bin. And it's still crunchy. It was fresh cabbage. It was not frozen and thawed, so it's nice and crunchy. And it's going to take a while before they can eat that. They do have a cucumber. Each bin has a cucumber that they're getting into now, as well as some corn husks. So I'm sure they're loving this cucumber. Lots of worms around it. And I noticed that in both bins, there's a lot of babies in cocoons, but that's pretty common with Euros. They are one worm species that seem to breed readily and easily regardless. There's a lot of young in here. And once this experiment is over, I'm going to separate the babies from the adults so that I have a better breeding situation. Now this side, there's no bedding left. Now the manure was put on the bottom, and then I tipped the bin over, adding all the bedding to the top. It's gone. I mean, there's little specks. Again, they have a cucumber and corn husks because I was going to feed the worms identical. All that changed was the addition of manure to the side. They have their cucumber in here somewhere too. There it is. And they should still have their cabbage in this back corner. And they do. And again, it's still, crunchy. I guess the best way to store cabbage is to bury it in poop. Okay, so the bedding, the paper bedding, is gone. And I'm digging in just to show you I didn't accidentally mix it up or do anything weird. I didn't take it out. I didn't do anything. So my conclusion is that the addition of the manure has caused these worms to go into a feeding frenzy. Now, I don't know why that would be. I haven't researched it. I'm sure it's full of all kinds of beneficial bacteria and enzymes and everything else. But I didn't expect this. I absolutely didn't expect this. You'll see as I go through it, there's just a very, very limited amount of the original paper bedding left. And here's a piece of the manure. And even the majority of the manure is gone. So they've just gone into a feeding frenzy. There's a little bit of the horsehair there, which I had put in. Some fatties. There's some fatties too. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share, that these worms have devoured their bedding. These worms are still working on their bedding. They had identical amounts of bedding. This bin was higher in the level in which the bedding reached, how high up it reached, because I had added a decent amount of horse manure to the bottom. So of course that's going to raise the level in this one. But the bedding itself, the original bedding that got dumped in, was in equal amounts, because I had just started these bins over. The previous ones were harvested, and I started it over with my pre-made bedding, and that's what was in both of them until I dumped them in here and added manure to the bottom of this one. So yeah, that's where we're at 6 days in. They have clearly gone into a feeding frenzy and have devoured the bedding, and the manure I added in was in big clumps at the bottom. Some of them were baseball size or bigger, and the clumps are broken down. There's no clumps left. I went digging through here and could not find any. I found a couple of maybe golf ball size pieces, but that's it. And maybe the manure put them into such a feeding frenzy that as they were chomping through that, they just continued on and were chomping at their bedding as well. It just didn't know where to stop. It must be like an appetite stimulant or something. See, here's a piece of, well, actually, no, that's a wood chip. Yeah, even the big clumps of manure, they're gone. They are gone. The worms are looking good. The worms are active. They're healthy. Look at the color of this one. Looks like sunset color worm. Very pretty. But yours can range in all different shades. Well, not all different shades. I have yet to see a bright green one, but I would like to. Yeah, so that's where we're at. I wanted to just show you that because I took the burlap off them today to peek in. And I'm like, where's the bedding? So I dug through and nope, it's not mixed in. It's gone. And I don't think worms are smart enough, or should I say selective enough, to just sprawl through and just eat bedding. Clearly what happened is the manure put them into an eating frenzy because all the big chunks are gone. And as I said, they just continued on and continued eating. So it really upped their appetite. And maybe that's the reason. We will see. Maybe that's the reason worms that are raised in manure are so much bigger and fatter. Maybe it's not the manure, but maybe something in the manure is triggering their appetite and they eat a lot more. I know when I eat a lot more, I get bigger and fatter. So, hey, why wouldn't it be true for the worms? Because they ate the manure chunks, they ate all of their bedding. And I did add the corn husks, the cucumber. They have their original cabbage. Similarly, this has the corn husks and cucumber. They have their original cabbage. But these worms, nothing put them into a feeding frenzy, so all their bedding is still there. I was really, really impressed when I saw this. I was like, holy gosh, how did they eat a whole bin of bedding? Well, I guess it was half full. So, yep, that's where we're at. I wanted to give you an update. It's been 6 days since I uploaded the video, 7 since I filmed it. And we will check in another week. I'm not going to add anything else to this. They have cabbage left, corn cobs, which are a very slow food. Not corn cobs, corn husks, and a cucumber. And that is true with this side as well. So that'll hold them for another week, and then we'll do another update. All right, everybody. As always, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see follow-ups, and share if you think somebody else would like it. And have an awesome rest of the day.